So the 10th secret to becoming a world champion of public speaking. So secret number 10, it is the speech that speaks through your legs. Now you must be wondering, how do your legs speak? This is one thing that most of the speakers don't think about, or people don't think about, and it's called staging, or it's called movement on the stage. Now, sorry. Now, when it comes to giving a speech, keep this much in mind. There are different areas of the stage where you can communicate your message. The old format was the 8. What do you call the 8? This is, I'm talking of the 80s, where a speaker would start his speech in the center. He would travel either this way or you travel this way, and he would go, complete. If you travel from, let's say, right to left, you go right to left, take like an 8 and come here, and then he would move the other side to like an 8 figure and come. So it's a total 8. Okay, so this is how speakers would do, and some of them would practice the 8 like a flower. So they would go left to right, and then they would go back to front. So this was the most common method, or the old format of how speakers would do. Then came the new format where people would use one side of the stage as left, as the past, the middle would be the center, and the next would be the future. And some other speakers would put one side of the stage as the past, the other side as the future, and this is the present. So they would move whichever way they like. Some other speakers would want to speak to this side of the audience, then that side of the audience, and then come to the center. So there are different ways. And then you have some speakers who would like to stand on top of a chair or table, so they go even higher and lower. They would lie on the ground. So there are different ways. You can try to make it 3-dimensional, like some speakers say even 4-dimensional. However, what I believe is, if you want to stand out as a speaker, you need to first move to areas of the stage nobody else would dare to move. But here's the thing which I want you to keep in mind. First, find out, where are you allowed to go? Are you allowed to go to particular areas of the stage beyond which you would be disqualified, or it's not allowed or not permitted? Also find out the range of your lapel AV mic. Make sure that you know the area that you're allowed to move on. And when it comes to moving, always move to an area of the stage that no other competitor would move. One of the things that I used to do is, I would always want to stand out from the rest of the crowd. So where every speaker would come and stand in the center, I would go and stand at the extreme right or the extreme left, to the edge of the stage where I would nearly fall off. That's what I would do. And from there, I would have a very purposeful way of moving. So it's not just walk and come to the center. No, my speech would weave itself through my actions and come to a certain point in the stage. All right. It's always recommended to be somewhere in the center when you're finishing. However, that's not a die hard rule. You can go to any area of the stage if you believe that particular area of the stage makes it effective for you. So that comes to the movement part. So always be creative of making sure you know which part of the speech is which part of the stage, because that will really help. Experiment with going up and going down. Be careful when you're doing that. And here's another thing that comes to leg movement. Make sure that every step that you take, whether it's left or whether it's right, it coincides with the paragraph in the speech or the sentence. For example, as I turned, and then you turn your leg. So don't do it in a clumsy fashion, like, just moving this way. I'm sitting down, so I can't show you. So move in a way that is smooth. It should be like a dance, like a dancer. You should know which foot, should it be left or should it be right? So move in a particular way that should have a purpose. And sometimes you need to move long steps when you're saying something exciting or aggressive. And sometimes you need to move softly when you are coming to a really powerful or poignant part in the speech. And when you're coming to a really important part that you want the audience to sink into, just don't move. Look straight at the audience. So sometimes you need to stand wide. Sometimes you need to stand with legs together. Sometimes front, back. So experiment. I would literally practice from yoga to stretching before I would, experiment with all this. And keep this in mind. The clothing that you wear is very, very important. So just make sure that your trousers don't rip open. This has happened to one speaker. Make sure that your trousers are comfortable so that you can move around, and make sure that your lapel microphone is put in such a way that when you do stretch and move, make all these movements, the lapel microphone does not, the part that is, on your belt doesn't fall off, because if it does fall off, it's pretty embarrassing, and for some speakers it's like suicide. So just make sure the movement is planned out. Practice with long steps, practice with short steps, practice with wide stance, narrow stance, practice standing up, sitting down, even lying down, moving to extreme ends, and have a purpose. Every part of it should have a purpose, should have a meaning. Don't just have a speech where you're doing all these things without understanding why you're doing. So that is why you need to sit with your mentor for this. Another very important thing is the same gestures that you're doing that day at practice should be done on the day of the finals, or reverse engineering. What you plan to do at the finals should be done in practice. One very good effective way of knowing where do you stand your speech is have a camera right at the top. This is what I used to do. I have a camera right at the top hanging, and I would practice my speech, put it fast forward, and I would know which parts of the stage where I would be more or less, and try to keep it balanced, left and right. Break down your video by second, frame by frame, so you know how much time you spend on the right, how much time you spend on the left, how much time you spend in the center, because it's very important to be balanced with all the sides. And through practice, you come to know which side of the stage, whether front or back, is more effective for you to be an amazing world champion speaker. So point number 10 in terms of being the world champion of public speaking is knowing how to stage, how to move around, and how to move your legs when you're trying to communicate something very, very important. Here's an added bonus is when you're trying to say something important, always move front. When you want the audience to start coming to you, start moving back. It really helps. So this is point number 10, secret number 10 to becoming the world champion of public speaking. This is Machedo. I hope you enjoyed my video session. If you have any questions, please send it to me at loy@loymachedo.com. Do share and like this video. And remember, if you'd like to donate to my channel, that is through PayPal, loy@loymachedo.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Goodbye.